As a favor to Yoko Ono, Martin Sheen mobilized Pittsburgh Catholic worker to convert consensual sex into collection agency for a pornography system that ran a genocide operation for Reagan. Now, when Kennedy was killed, there was a big motive in lying about everything. So when you extend that to the Texas school book and the AIDS attack and COVID-19 and what is being done to me by Seattle and Pittsburgh, by Inslee's Crowd and Wolf, Biden, Trump, Thompson, what you have is a situation where there's doubly reason to lie about everything. But the parochial opponent claims that the idea that abortion is health care is the big lie. So they lie back and they use the nuclear symbol of Ryback, who had classified information in his home. Ryback, get Rye, my father back. They did it all behind Rye's back as a joke about people who trust Pittsburgh law enforcement and administrative norms. State ways can't change folk ways was used by the Klan to explain lynches. Yet the provincial norm was evoked by the Pittsburgh NAACP the same way. One of the whites in the operation said, if you try to help black people, they will only turn on you. And they brought in the Green Party black to set up Pussy Ball and murder my father um, symbolically. It's not proven that a black man murdered my father. It was the Green Party. And in Seattle, they're run by a black man named Aaron Dixon. So you see again the noxious symbolism of Dixon. Mason-Dixon line. It's a Confederate norm. So they've closed ranks around a Confederate norm. Now, when you look at lieback, Ryback, you find that the LR inflection representing Japanese interest was used by Karl Rove, love, right? LR, love, Rove, I love EW. Greg Carl wrote the script to say that they were defending Midori Goto from the lecherous Lenin wannabe. And of course, they struck seriously off because McCartney sees the whole gag as England's social control over planet Earth. So they set up this line. It's encrypted in their cinema. You know, if you doubt that the Rove was a symbol of this Confederacy, look at who replaced Weinberger. The men who tortured me were like Casper and Ronald. Ronald Szynski, like Reagan and Weinberger back in 1974. Not many people knew. The Department of Navy admitted that not many people in 74 knew they'd be working together in 80. And they had a kid named Jeff Weiner running around with a kid named Howie Berger. And Casper had tortured me, and I was so threatened when Jeff pulled scissors on me that I actually gave him a fat lip. It comes out of Weiner Berger, Casper Weiner Berger, input, output, right? So they trying to build a feedback loop representation for what they were planning to do. And they bump off innocent bystanders because, well, what are innocent bystanders if not the unborn child? None of these people really care about abortion, but they use it for its obsessive persuasion factor. So, but if you look at Carlucci, he replaced Weinberger, right? Carmen Carlucci, they kidnapped me in cars. He ran a used car off Hollywood Drama Club. The cops would follow, so they knew that these weren't really stolen cars. The only person who didn't know that they weren't stolen cars was the hostage in the back seat. He thought they were stolen cars. This was all car shh. And the JDL works with Midori Goto. They stalk me all day with lookalikes. You know, Shane brings in all of these lookalikes. So we know for a fact that there was nothing but provocation on the part of Leslie Katz, rubbing her vagina on my chinny chin chin night after night for years, which what happened, but then showing off when I wanted to make love. So we didn't, and they said, oh, well, he had the spirit of the devil inside him. He wanted to impregnate a shying off girl. It's not true. She humiliated me, and I wrote a letter. Then they had attorneys from the University of Pittsburgh saying things to me, totally uncalled for things, like you blew it. It wouldn't have been right. This was them saying that, not me. And Celine Dion comes in and says, you wanted to jump on a tree like a frightened cat. What is that? That's the defense of Mount Desert Island, the trapment. And now they want to make it Port Bill by calling it a script, it's worth money now. Okay, so in other words, getting people to accept death was much more important to them than warning people. They certainly didn't warn me. I went in looking for evidence and found evidence and proved that they denied because they're liars. I mean, they have a huge machine, but their lie is underwritten by the fact that their attorneys had me DC when Reagan claims he was shot. He comes out and waves to me, hi, Jim. You're in for a big surprise. And the brochure says there's no such thing as objective reality, only what the jury believes, which goes back to the way that Dan Rather lied about what happened at Dealey Plaza. Sandy Kennedy's head goes violently forward when he'd seen the Zapruder film. It goes violently backwards. So he was lying through the teeth, but you would rather believe it. They didn't let us see that for over a decade. That Gregory managed to get it on TV, or Griffin or something, finally in the 76 or so. But meanwhile, what they're doing is lying about everything. They're using double fantasy, right? And they trace us back to Blythe Sanders and Robert Penn Warren's theory of literature. Literature could tell a deeper truth than reality. They adapted it to cinema and slowly gobbled the media machinery with Hollywood magic. So they created a false narrative. So everything falls into place, but they have this slip knot that makes it all, oh, he just wants money. We want, when he can't tell the story straight, the story is that there's a Hallmark card special that the boy who was tortured upset some girls. So he has to kissy lick and make up with the people who committed a genocide. Or Paul McCartney won't give him Greta Thunberg's autograph. This is how sickening Donald Trump's imagination is. And they've gone along with it. Even AOC goes along with it. Oh, you'll get the postcard from Flippy Toon again. You'll get to see Flippy Toon. Who wants to see Flippy Toon again? I don't want to see Flippy Toon again. He's a psycho. These people went along with it from the idea of a fourth dimensional system. A fourth dimensional system for genocidal purposes. We're taking a wrecking ball to our public schools, just destroying them. And they were playing songs like Flame Over Africa while they were doing Ono cover tunes. And they're just timing the whole thing, Oh, we'll get the Africans mad at you, queer ball. I'm the one who tried to get medical information organized for Africa, by the way, at Pitt. And I was shut down like a nutrition center. They didn't want, I'm not promising anything to anybody. The only thing I've said is this is an outrage. And I testified and reported it. That's all. I'm not promising anything to anybody. My interest in those issues is obvious, but their interest in creating a scam to use me is perverted. It's unbelievably perverted psychotics. And while I certainly sympathize with people with their medical problems, they come around inflicting they're using medical problems as a weapon. They're using poison, torture, medical afflictions as weapons. This is Seattle. This is what happens when you let the lefties get involved in a scam with the righties and take over the medical clinic community. They're psychotic. They're absolutely deranged, stupid, maniacal people involved in an outrage. And there's nothing good that can possibly be said about them. There's nothing can be good can be said about them. They poison me in the mouth and then release COVID. And they're still trying to convince people that I'm lying about what they did on Mount Desert Island. They have never risen above level of a scam. And this clubhouse group says, oh, well, everything is money. Everything is money. So, in other words, they wanted to make money off the victims, not save lives. That's by their own admission. They didn't want to warn, they didn't want to apprehend. My testimony has gone to try to identify and apprehend the people and get law enforcement to do their jobs when it comes to atrocity. That's all. I never professed to be doing anything else. But it's certainly a good deed.